This is the Phillies Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Philadelphia Phillies. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Never a doubt, baby. Never a doubt. Welcome into Locked On Phillies Postcast. My name is Mark Farzetta. I have missed you. I've missed you so much over the last two postcasts. Couldn't do, unfortunately, but if there was a day to come back, and thank you, Phillies. Thank you so much, Philadelphia Phillies, for waiting until I got back in the chair to win the NL East. It was, this win tonight was so unbelievably just like the Phillies season. They're ahead, then they're not, then they're tied, then they're not, then they're behind, then they tie, then they take the lead, then they blow it, and then they win. Like, you go through this entire season. As I'm following this game tonight, I like Kyle Schwarber's home run, for instance. I went, all right, that's the way to start it. Now let's keep it going. And they weren't able to keep it going for a while, enough to the point where, of course, the Dodgers were able to take a lead. So I was just thinking, with Westin Wilson stepping up of all people to get you the 2-run home run that flipped the script to put the Phillies in front by a run, I was thinking this is exactly like the Phillies need to win this game because the script writers, this is what they want to write up. They want to write up a game that is a great microcosm of the season. For instance, in May, this team is near 10 games over 500, if not 11 games over 500 in May. They go in June, July. They're a 500 baseball team in June and July. The Mets look like they're going to beat the brakes off them out of nowhere all of a sudden. Then you got August coming up here. They start really getting their momentum back. September, they just look great. Of course, they have the struggles, or at least the worry. You lose Zach Wheeler. You lost Trey Turner. But this team just keeps on winning, and they're never out of it. Unless Aaron Nola gives us 6 runs in 6 innings. Then you may be out of it. But other than that, this team is in it, and they fight, and they fight, and they fight. And I think I even said this on our last postcast, but it just reminds me all the time of HK. It reminds me all the time of Harry Kalas, especially a win like tonight, clinching the NL East, back-to-back seasons now, fighting through this game, fighting through the season when a lot of people were even throwing mud at me for saying, oh, look, this team's still going to make the playoffs. They're going to make the playoffs. I don't know about winning the division, but they won the division. And like HK always said, fighting Phils. That's exactly what they've been all season. That's exactly what they were tonight in this game. I'm going to try to monitor everything that's going to be going on in the clubhouse and relaying it over to you guys. I'm just seeing it pop up here, actually, through Connor Thomas, our Locked On Daily Phillies host. Rob Thompson, SJT Romuto, as always, how many more we got? And JT responded with, whatever the hell it takes. So that's nugget number 1 from the Phillies clubhouse out there in Los Angeles following this incredible 6-5 victory in 10 innings. Let's go through it all. But before we really break it down, let's just mention it.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
I can't pick one. I can't pick one, especially when so many guys were really trying to help flip the script to this Phillies team tonight. Kyle Schwarber getting them started with that solo home run. Harrison Bader, the 0 for 4, but still manages to help the Phillies with the game-winning run there in the 10th inning. That was great. Bryce Harper got a home run tonight. That was fantastic. Just seeing him be able to come up in the clutch and put the Phillies in front again. That was great for him. JT came up with the game-winning RBI sac fly in the 10th inning. You can certainly reference him. I was very curious to see why Nick Castellanos got the pinch hit opportunity that he did and ended up getting 2 at-bats today. That didn't make any sense to me. Otto Kemp came up with clutch for you today as well. And then Bryson Stott, Westin Wilson. Westin Wilson, probably the most clutch of the clutch hits, considering, as I mentioned, his 2-run home run gave you hope again for the Phillies. And I can certainly say that
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Was absolutely the turning point. Thank you very much. When you look at Westin Wilson stepping to the plate in that 7th inning, Phillies are in that 7th inning. They go into it. They're down 3-1. In the 7th inning, then Otto Kemp steps up to the plate, gets the ground rule double, just a little shy of a solo home run that would have made it a 3-2 game. One hopper over that short fence in left field at Dodger Stadium. They then take Sheenan out, who had been dominant against the Phillies since the opener didn't do his job, allowing the solo home run to Kyle Schwarber. Sheenan then finally came in. They then bring in Dreyer there in the 7th inning. He faces Otto Kemp, gets him to ground out to second base. Kemp's able to take third. Kepler, excuse me. Kemp's able to take third base on that. Bryson Stott brings him home with an RBI single to center field. Now it's a 3-2 ball game. Stott's on. Westin Wilson steps up to the plate. He gets up in the count 2-0, gets a fastball that's got every inch of the middle of home plate, and Westin Wilson turns on this pitch and blasts it to center field 417 feet for a 2-run home run and a 1-run Phillies lead. Phillies have the lead now. That's when you felt the Phillies, they were going to win this ballgame. Now, unfortunately, this was the first of a couple of different turning points throughout the game, but this is the one that at least made me feel like the Phillies weren't going to go quietly into the night. They were, again, going to be the fighting Phils, and that's what they were after this. Bryce Harper, after the Dodgers were able to tie things up there on the Mookie Betts home run to make it a 4-4 game, up against the lefty, Harper steps up there, is down in the count 1-2, gets a fastball up in the zone. Now, here's what was so amazing about this. Bryce Harper throughout this game was just hacking away more than Kit Hidson, okay? Top of the zone, like the high ones, can't lay off the high ones, all that stuff, mule nag, can't lay off the high ones in this game. Bryce Harper finally connects with a high fastball and just gets enough of it to put it over the wall there in right center field to give the Phillies a 5-4 lead. This, again, felt like the moment the Phillies had turned the corner. Not only have they been fighting through the game, they fight again after the game's tied at 4. Harper puts them in front. They go down 1-2-3 thanks to Matt Strahm at the bottom of the 8th inning due to the Dodgers. Then in the 9th inning, Phillies unfortunately go down 1-2-3. They don't get any other insurance runs. 9th inning, Jhoan Duran comes in. And Andy Pages had been a thorn in the Phillies side all night. And with one out after Duran struck out Muncy, he faces Pages. He gets up in the count 0-2. I think he went fastball, knuckle. And on the second knuckle, the first knuckle was a good knuckle. That was down. It was slightly away. Great pitch. And he hacked at it. The second knuckle curve, unfortunately, just hung up with a just punch me face, okay? I don't know what it is about his face, just punch it. And Pages, wow, just ripped that one down the left field line for the home run, 424 feet that one was. That made it a tie ball game, 5-5. Phillies were able to get a little bit of offense going there in the bottom of that 10th, or should be top of the 10th inning, to get the 6-5 lead on the JT Realmuto Sac Fly RBI that gave him the lead, and obviously that was what closed it out after David Robertson came in, despite a bases-loaded situation. Just got out of that jam, and seeing him react and seeing Bryce Harper react, I thought told a great story at that final out. And I have no doubt in my mind that the Phillies are going to be having a blast in the dugout, blast in the clubhouse, and I'm sure they're having a blast right now. But Bryce Harper's reaction versus David Roberts. Bryce Harper's been to the World Series. Bryce Harper, unfortunately, they've come up short every year. And each year since they lost the World Series, they've come up a little bit shorter each year. Bryce Harper feels like watching him in that final out was all business. And David Robertson was a lot more excited to at least be joining a team in the very later stages of the season that had World Series aspirations. This was a gutsy win tonight. It's been a gutsy season by the Phillies. And seeing guys step up time and time again, and I said this on the last postcast, and I'll reiterate, it really does remind me of that next man up mentality that we saw in 2017 from the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm not one to just like glom on any Eagles success and just throw it around different franchises. Like I remember when the Eagles did win in 07 and 08, 17 and 18, people were like, oh, this team, is it going to make the Flyers want to win and the Sixers want to win and all that stuff? Like you talk to those athletes, which I did on the other teams, and they're like, well, not really, but they don't want to say that in front of the camera because they're trying to do their own thing. But this team right here, I'm not saying they're motivated by the Eagles at all. I'm just saying they remind me of the 2017 Eagles team that just had that next man up mentality. We all we got, we all we need. And no matter what's in front of us, we're going to find a way to overcome it. And to say it again, you look at May this season, this team looked like a barn burner. This team looked like they just were going to cruise again, give us the false hope that they gave us last year. And then June, July, as I mentioned, you're talking about a 500 baseball team. The Mets look like they're unbeatable. And then finally the Phillies get it together and they're able to roll in August and they're rolling in September despite the injuries. I absolutely love this ball club. And throughout this entire ride all season, just want to say real quick while we're riding the high, thank you for joining me throughout this second consecutive NL East championship. And I will say, this team does feel a hell of a lot different than last year's team. Last year, it kind of had that feeling of limping into the playoffs, not playing your best baseball. This is pretty much the best season you could ask for the Phillies. When you talk about showing early what they could do, and then coming back down to earth, and then getting back to the mountaintop, and then absolutely annihilating the Mets in your last meeting against them to the point where you could absolutely be a huge reason as to why they missed the playoffs this year, which would be awesome. And then you also think about a team like the Dodgers, who you beat again. You already took 2 or 3 earlier in the season against them. Just keep on stacking them W's. They are a game and a half behind the Milwaukee Brewers right now for the best record in the National League. Don't stop now. One last thing for you.
This is what you'll be talking about.
As I did mention, you're going to be talking about what the Brewers got coming up. This is the Phillies schedule, the remaining schedule for the Philadelphia Phillies. 2 games in Los Angeles, 3 games in Arizona, then 3 against Miami, and then they end up against the former Harrison Baders of Minnesota and Jhoan Durans of Minnesota in facing the Twins for their final series of the season. And then, meanwhile, this is what you got coming up here for the Milwaukee Brewers. They got 3 coming up starting tomorrow against the LA Dodgers. Then they had a 6-game road trip. That's in St. Louis and in San Diego. And then 3 at home against the Cincinnati Reds. That's the way their season winds down. That's probably what you'll be kicking around tomorrow. And also the simple fact that the Philadelphia Phillies are again NL East champs. We'll get your comments and more when we return. This is Locked On Phillies Postcast on the Locked On Phillies YouTube channel. And now it's time to tell you about FanDuel. NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel because the bets, they fit however I want to bet. Whatever I want to do, parlays, all the action you really get in on. Point spreads, all of it, right there on FanDuel. Player props, FanDuel's got you covered. Make every game that much more exciting with FanDuel. Quick, easy, and the best way to add a little bit more energy to your game day. So, are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet, and if it hits, $300 in bonus bets on FanDuel at FanDuel.com. And how about Prize Picks? This episode in particular is brought to you by Prize Picks, the daily fantasy app where making the right call can actually pay off. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right means cashing in. With football back, Prize Picks is absolutely off the charts. The simplest and fastest way to get in on the action. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you can turn your takes into real prizes. All in less than 60 seconds with Prize Picks. Maybe you like the Eagles passing game getting on track this week against the LA Rams. Maybe you like that. Maybe you like the defense getting after Matt Stafford. Maybe you like a little something like that. Well, maybe you can make that make a lot more sense to you on Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use promo code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 play. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Now let me tell you about Nutrafol. You've probably seen a million ads about hair growth products and been like, yeah, sure, like that works. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand trusted by over 1.5 million people. Oh, no, that's not just hype. This is a supplement clinically tested that targets the root causes of thinning and shedding with a proactive approach. Start noticing around people using it? See thicker, stronger hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering Locked On MLB listeners and viewers $10 off their first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter promo code Locked On MLB. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code Locked On MLB. Before I get into the chat check, I didn't even mention the pitching tonight other than, of course, your starting pitcher, Ranger Suarez tonight. 6 innings, 3 runs, 7 hits, 2 walks. 7 hits seems like a lot for Ranger. 5 strikeouts. Did have some nasty movement on that slider tonight. Unfortunately, that slider, of course, not falling in for a strike, literally meaning, trying to get guys off balance, chasing pitches out of the zone. They started laying off a little bit after the first inning. Orion Kerkering, I literally felt bad for because in his inning, he came in to pitch the 7th inning. He got Conforto to strike out on an 0-2 fastball, 3-pitch strikeout. Gets Ohtani on a great pitch, fastball down and in, that if they had the replay system, it would have been a strike. It was in, but nick it. It would have nicked it. Would have nicked the strike zone, and Ohtani would have been rung up. And then, unfortunately, faced Betts and then gave up the 0-1 fastball that was, again, another beg to hit me pitch. And that one got blasted to tie things up. But Orion Kerkering, other than that, was pretty good. Strom, again, the 1-2-3 inning and 2 strikeouts. Jhoan Duran, unfortunately, blowing that save for the Phillies tonight. Let's get into the chat check and see how you wonderful people are feeling with your division champs for back-to-back years. That is a good feeling. It is still a good feeling. Seabrook, what's going on? A house divided over here. Someone sleeping on the couch. Okay. Well. How the turntables? Michael Scott / Westin Wilson. Right? Jess Patrick Strom, hard contact or traffic or both, except tonight. Exactly. Jess Patrick Low. Phillies win in spite of the umpires. Umpires weren't great, but the umpires also weren't great for both sides. I will say in particular, there was one punch-out call that Mookie Betts had. I think it was Betts. I think it was Betts at the plate, and they had him punched out for that steal. Yeah, it was Betts, 9th inning. He ended up flying out to center field. Ohtani walked on 5 pitches prior to that. Betts steps up to the plate, he's got 2 strikes in the count. They throw a curveball, or maybe it was a splitter, from Jhoan Duran, falls in beautifully outer half of the plate, not outside corner, not off the plate, outer half of the plate. Don't know what happened. It was called a ball, should have been strike 3, but fortunately, it did not come back around to bite the Phillies in the behind as Betts ended up just ended up flying out to center field. So how about that? Gorgon, hello. Farzi, I don't want Kerkering pitching in the playoffs. I don't think anyone does at this point. Seabrook, 10 p.m. Arizona time. Feel bad for y'all. I know, right? Polabuck, Kerkering has been, I'll just say no bueno. Evelyn, Farzi, they waited a day so we could all celebrate together, and as usual, made us sweat it out. Let's keep going. Let's keep it going everywhere. Everyone, Phillies are NL East champions. Open. I'll just say open. I don't want to see Stubbs and crew tomorrow, especially at the Sanchez start. There is still a first place seed to go for. I'm with you. Keep going, boys. Keep on trucking. Brian, there you go. LJ Maya. Farzi, you cop any Pokemon cards today from the center? No, I don't know what you mean, the center. I don't know what you mean. I'm not a Pokemon guy. I've never been a Pokemon guy. I don't get Pokemon. Not a thing as far as I'm concerned. Daughter, a little bit, but she's 6, Congrats to the Phillies. Hope to see the Cubs, Phillies, NLCS. If not, beat the Brewers' brains. Beat the Brewers' brains in when you face them. Thank you very much. Chris, I smell a World Series title. Mets who? Bam, man. Kirk made a good pitch and just got beat. Was that the shake-off? There was 2 pitches tonight that JT Realmuto got shaken off on. One was by Ranger Suarez. I think that was the Muncy home run in the 5th inning. And then I think the other one, it was either the Pajes home run off Duran. I'm pretty sure it was the Betts homer off Kerkering. I'm pretty sure that was the one. But there were 2 moments where they made it a point to say on the broadcast that he got shaken off, and then both those times there were home runs. Not a good idea. Philly Nate, I'm ready. I'm really beginning to believe. There you go. Andrew, beating the Dodgers in their house is better than clinching at home. I still rather see the city celebrate in South Philadelphia. Bilbo Swaggins, we're talking about the fightins, baby. Said. Love it. Joseph Grillo, Robertson, still crafty. I think Cassie got the pinch hit opportunity because that jackass pitcher who hit one of his grand slams off of earlier this year. Possibly. The umps made genuinely egregious calls in this game. Bam, man, I do agree with that. The topper double steal in extras with Bader and Harper after they intentionally walked Harper, that was a thing of beauty. Evelyn, love you right back. Night 1990, man, what a win tonight. Clinch the division and cut the magic number for a bye down to 2 games. Talk about productive. How about that? Pablo, what's popping, Pablo? I'm so happy for my second team in Major League Baseball. Second team. First, the best organization. Second, keep New York Dodgers in LA down. I love my Brew crew. Oh, the Brewers fans are coming in, infiltrating. James Alexander, winning our division is a start. Phillies, look, we still got to win the playoffs, no doubt. RF, JT, how many more wins in the clubhouse before the champagne starts? There you go. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are wonderful, as per usual. It has been one hell of a ride. Phillies clinched their division, and now they just got to keep on wanting. You have Kyle Schwarber at 53 home runs. Will he get to 58? Will he get to 59? And just on a personal thing for Bryce Harper, I'd love to see him over the next 12 games get 3 more home runs and just get to that 30 number. Almost missing a month this year. I would love to see him still be able to get that 30 home run plateau. It seems like everyone gets 20 home runs now. To get to 30 is actually something that'll raise an eyebrow or two nowadays. So I'd love to see that for Bryce Harper. I'll cross my fingers for that. Make sure you guys like and subscribe right here on Locked On Phillies YouTube channel. You got me for your postcast the rest of the season. Some conflicts here and there, but mostly right here with you. And Connor Thomas, of course, has you covered each and every day with your Locked On Phillies daily podcast. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Back with you guys tomorrow. Go Phils.